Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with a video talking about the upcoming TLC pay-per-view live on the WWE Network. Of course, it's entitled TLC, and the big match that's going to be going down, honestly, the only match that I can tell you that I care about, would be Roman Reigns going up against Sheamus for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. All the marbles are going to be on the line. Definitely, this is Roman Reigns going after the World Heavyweight Championship for... I don't know how many shots he's honestly got. I remember that the first time he fell short was in that ladder match at Money in the Bank when Daniel Bryan was stripped of the championship. And they really showed him defeated up against the guardrail, like he lost his one chance to go after it. And, of course, he would then, get a shot at Battleground in the Fatal 4-Way. I can't honestly remember the way they played it off, him not getting the championship there. But it didn't seem like it was as big of a deal as it was at Money in the Bank. You could definitely see that down the line, Roman Reigns was going to be getting that shot of becoming champion. Then all of a sudden he wins the Royal Rumble, and then he becomes the enemy of all WWE fans. And Roman Reigns was the guy that honestly always was really cool, and he was always well liked. If you go back to when Batista won the Royal Rumble the year before, everybody knew that Batista was going to win the Rumble. Everybody knew that Roman Reigns was going to get eliminated. But everyone that was in Pittsburgh that day was cheering for Roman, hoping that there was going to be some sort of a miracle. Maybe they were going to start the breakup of the Shield that everybody knew was coming sooner than later. And Roman would sort of be the guy that broke the Shield apart because of, like, maybe Rollins and Ambrose wouldn't be able to handle with Roman coming from the background to being basically the leader with the championship shot. Maybe, he would lose his support system, I guess you can say. Everybody was watching the Rumble, putting that future booking or fantasy booking in their mind as the match is still going on. But you go to a year later, he's going to fight Brock Lesnar, and of course the rumors that Brock's going to leave WWE to head to UFC, so basically, this is the match where Brock's just going to hand the championship to Roman. And even though he put all the hard work in over the last, 2-3 years in WWE, people didn't want him as champion anymore. Like, wait, no. This isn't what we want. So, they all cheered for Daniel Bryan, and they all booed Roman Reigns, even though The Rock was out there. And Roman Reigns became the number one most hated man in professional wrestling. I honestly thought it would have been a great idea to put the championship on him at WrestleMania. Definitely with Seth Rollins doing the run-in, cashing in the Money in the Bank, making the match a 3-way, was a big surprise. And it definitely put WrestleMania 31, like the afterburners on, shoved it into a different stratosphere where, leaving the Levi Stadium that night, people thought it was going to be one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. Seth as champion to me proved that he was a great wrestler. He had good matches, but at the end, I think as a champion, Seth Rollins is mostly going to be remembered for being a guy that couldn't win the big one on his own, whether if it was J&J Security, whether if it was Corporate Kane, whether if it was Triple H and Stephanie. He always needed some sort of backup support. And, he cheated, he lied, he stole, he did whatever he had to do to keep the championship. But as a heel, he was doing his job. But as, a wrestling fan watching, it got to the point where it's like, we've seen this for too long. And honestly, in my opinion, Roman should have stepped up to the plate and beat Seth Rollins for the championship somewhere along the way. And I think definitely Survivor Series might have been the moment if it wasn't for Seth Rollins' injury. But I don't know why Roman didn't win the Survivor Series tournament. Maybe it was the fact of everybody knew he was going to win it, so they wanted to throw everybody a curveball, so they couldn't think that they could be a writer for WWE, or maybe they just couldn't think of what Roman Reigns would do, as a champion at TLC, and they didn't want him to fail. But at the same time, if they're not going to give Roman Reigns a championship at Survivor Series, I don't know why they're not, but I just don't feel that TLC is a big enough show that they want to crown Roman Reigns as a first-time champion. And already immediately you can hear people banging away on the keyboards telling me that Roman Reigns would be a second-time champion. He held the belt for 5 minutes. He got cashed in on. They played some fireworks. They shot some confetti. But in my mind, Roman Reigns has not been the champion. You think of that first championship run. I know a lot of guys, you know, they aren't booked, you know, that great. If you think about, you know, Rey Mysterio, CM Punk, you don't normally get a good run as champion with the first time, because it's almost like you're an underdog. You weren't really one of the top superstars. So they got to book you as the guy who's getting beat up each and every week. Like, you know, how is he going to win this time? And sometimes the story's good, and sometimes the story's just bad. You know, with Punk and Rey Mysterio, their first championship runs were disasters in my book, and definitely when CM Punk turned heel, the second run got a lot better. And Mysterio, he won the championship for like a Monday Night Raw again, and that was basically it. They basically saw that, you know, you could make this guy a big deal without the championship. He was one of those guys who didn't need it. But now Roman, who a lot of people think is going to be the face of the WWE in the foreseeable future, especially with, you know, John Cena going off and filming this reality show and doing lots of other things, such as being in movies. You know, maybe he's not going to be around forever, and you need to have that guy. Roman Reigns, in my opinion, is a guy that Sunday is make or break for me. If you do not put that championship on Roman Reigns, he's not my John Cena. He's not my number one guy. He's just a guy. Is he going to have good matches? Yeah. But is he a guy that I see as the leader of the WWE, a guy that's going to move them into the next generation? Right now, wrestling is at an all-time low. It's easy to say that. My good buddies, Freaking Yaya 88 and Assault and Battery 777, both put up videos talking about what it's like to be a professional wrestling fan in 2015. And Ravi basically sounds like he doesn't even really watch the show. Miguel says that he fires it up on the DVR, but the fast forward button on his remote is basically his best friend. And it's honestly the truth. I think that honestly, Roman Reigns has gotten a lot of shots at being the champion, and he's failed. A lot of them. Most of the time he's been screwed. Especially like when he was going to win Money in the Bank. He was going to win the briefcase, and he got tipped over by Bray Wyatt to go into a useless feud that nobody cared about there. And this should be make or break for him. Honestly, in my opinion, it's shit or get off the pot with Roman Reigns. He needs to be the guy. It doesn't matter if TLC is not a big one. TLC is where Daniel Bryan won his World Heavyweight Championship, and that wasn't honestly supposed to be a big deal. Maybe they had it planned out that he was going to go to WrestleMania and he was going to lose it there, but I know as wrestling fans watching the show, I mean, everybody set their stopwatch of when Daniel Bryan was going to lose that thing. Definitely he would lose at the Rumble. Okay, he didn't lose at the Rumble, but definitely there's no way he's walking out of the chamber with it. And he walked out of the chamber with it, and then we got to Mania, and it was like, well, Sheamus hasn't lost a match in forever. Well, at least we'll get a good match at WrestleMania. And they didn't even give us the good match. it just is what it is. You know, I think it's right now or never with Roman Reigns. I believe that Roman Reigns could have a surge of, you know, being the guy. I also think that the fans might revolt on Roman Reigns no matter what with the championship, just to try and have some fun. Look at John Cena. John Cena is definitely the most popular wrestler in the world right now. You know, basically, I think if you walk around with a picture of John Cena and you ask, you know, who is this, to non-wrestling fans and wrestling fans, I think that more people are going to know John Cena than any other person that wrestles for WWE as of right now. The only asterisk you might be able to get is a guy like Triple H, a guy like The Rock, The Undertaker, the guys that are part-timers that only come around every once in a while, and if you throw that asterisk in there, maybe they'll beat them. But anybody who wrestles continuously on Raw, on SmackDown, on any other show that's not named WrestleMania, John Cena's going to get named more than anybody else. And you need to have somebody to fill that role. And I know there's a lot of guys that could step up to the plate. Definitely people believe in Bray Wyatt, even though he's been booked shitty for the past 2-3 years, however long he's been on the main roster. There's Dean Ambrose. There's Seth Rollins. You know, definitely Finn Balor in developmental. There's guys that, you know, are going to get there. And maybe right now, we're just at a bad point. I was trying to think of a way to make a video where basically I talk about what it was like being a wrestling fan in like 1993, when definitely, you know, the Doinks and the Duke the Dumpster Drosies and the Goon and guys like that were running around, and it was not a very fun time to watch WrestleMania. But as a kid, you didn't really know the difference. I mean, you look back now and you're like, God, how did I watch that shit? And now you're turning on Raw now and you're basically at the same point. Like, how am I going to get through this? Roman has to beat Sheamus. That's the only way that I think it's going to go down. I think everybody can see the way that this match is going to take place. TLC match, both basically with no disqualifications, no countouts, no rules. Basically, you can see the League of Nations getting involved in this match. All 4 guys win or lose in their matches, and then of course that would bring out Ambrose and the Usos, and maybe that's where we're going to get our turn of Ambrose turning on Reigns or something like that, and maybe that's going to lead to what's going down. But if WWE's idea is we're not going to have Roman Reigns win the big one at TLC, we want him to have a WrestleMania moment where basically he's going to lose this match, win the Royal Rumble, maybe have a match at Fastlane to get the momentum going, and then win at WrestleMania. I'm out. I'm done. That storyline is what we were supposed to see last year. You didn't do it then. Don't do it now. Sheamus needs to lose at TLC.